everybody, and welcome again to another SyncApps Walkthrough Wednesdays. And for this week, I am so excited to showcase you a setting up Mailchimp for Salesforce for success. I'm Joanna and I'll be your host for today, and with me is our support team for any questions that you might have, and you can also ask them through the chat box feature and they'll be happy to help you out. So for this week, I am really thrilled to introduce to you one of our top consultants for SyncApps, Redpath Consulting Group, and they are with me today for the webinar to discuss on how you can set up your Mailchimp for Salesforce for success.
Hello, I'm Stephanie King from Redpath. Happy to be here today.
Thanks, Stephanie, for being here. And for any questions that you may have, you can also reach out to Stephanie via the chat box down below.
Great.
So a little bit on our overview on the agenda for today is mainly I'll be showcasing or introducing you first to Salesforce to Mailchimp overview. And then next, we can also see a setting up your Mailchimp for Salesforce for success with Redpath. Of course, Stephanie will be here to showcase and show you how you can do it with Redpath. And also, I'm going to be showcasing a little bit about the Redpath Consulting Group. And lastly, we have a question and answer portion that is an open forum for the attendees to interact with our team and with other subscribers as well. So Mailchimp for Salesforce integration. Mailchimp and Salesforce integration is actually one of our top integrations to date. The major features for this integration are as follows. So firstly, we can sync and remove unlimited number of accounts, contacts, and leads to your Mailchimp list, groups, and even tags. So tags are a new Mailchimp feature which you can easily use for your integration. Second, we also have filter and sync only those records who meet a specific criteria from CRM. So we have this powerful feature called filtering and segmentation. And we have also had a previous webinar showcasing that feature. So if you want to go ahead to that one, our support team will be happy to help you out. Thirdly, this integration also allows Salesforce custom checkbox fields to Mailchimp list, group, or segmentation feature. This feature is very helpful if you have a subscriber that is subscribed to different email campaigns or email marketing lists in Mailchimp. You can have that integrated with SyncApps as well. Fourthly, you can connect multiple CRM instances to also multiple Mailchimp accounts. And last, you can retrieve the email campaigns together with their metrics, so the opens, the bounces, clicks, and the forwards from Mailchimp, and create that as an activity for each campaign response in Salesforce. So here is a flow chart and to guide you how the Mailchimp to Salesforce basically integrates with SyncApps. So let's say you have your Salesforce leads and your contacts on the left panel, and this records will go to a marketing list in Mailchimp together with the contact list members. And then once it goes to your Mailchimp account, it will have a group title and group members. Once you send out an email to that Mailchimp group, that campaign together with the campaign members and the campaign metrics can be synced back to Salesforce. So in our previous walkthrough Wednesday, I have integrated or shown how you can easily integrate your Salesforce and Mailchimp using SyncApps. So we have covered already the basic integration, And you can replay the full video by visiting our blog at cazoomi.com/blog. So for the pricing, again, Salesforce for Mailchimp integrations are available for the free trial, which is a 2-week period, so you can try the best out of our product to see how it works for your integration. Once the free trial has run out, we can also extend it for you. You'll just have to email us at support@cazoomi.com, and after which you can purchase and go ahead with our professional plan, which offers a sync on demand feature and a flexible syncing. So we have it at 6, 12, or 24-hour intervals. Aside from the professional plan, it is also available on our enterprise plan, which offers real-time syncing, custom services, and of course, a scheduled phone support. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen with Stephanie. So Stephanie is a certified Salesforce consultant from Redpath Consulting Group.
Great. Let's see.
So I'm gonna share my screen.
If you make me the
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, are you gonna make me the presenter and then I can share my screen?
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna make Stephanie the presenter, just for a while here. Okay, there we go.
Here we go. Let's see. Do you see my screen with my version of the flowchart?
Yes. Perfect. You can see it now.
Okay, very good. Joanna, I was thrilled to see your version of the flowchart. For one thing, it was satisfying to see that mine was right because they looked about the same. But the other reason I was happy to see yours is because my version looks like a reproductive system, which always bothered me a little bit, and you managed to do it without.
A women's reproductive system.
So what I wanted to do today was show the attendees what this sync looks like set up in a real org. So I've taken one of my real clients who has this sync, and we'll just be working in a sandbox org with some dummy data, but we can see the structure and see what the kind of the look and feel of this integration is as a user. And hopefully that will be kind of a good angle to come at it, because I think as you've heard some of the highlights just now from Joanna, and as you've probably looked through some of the documentation on the website, it's a really powerful tool, and there's a lot of options, and there's a lot you can do with it, which is a really good thing. But it can seem a little bit abstract as you try to boil that down to what is that going to look, what is that going to look like to me when I try to set this up and use it. So I'm just going to try to show that side of it because it is both, I think, really, it's simple and elegant, while having, the power to meet all of your, potentially complex use cases that you may or may not have, is all in there. So I really love this tool. So this is what I'm going to do. Here we are in my demo org here for this. And I'll walk you through what this looks like. Actually, let's see, I think maybe if I refresh, it might look a little different. Okay, great. What I'm showing, just a caveat, is one way that this integration can be set up. Like I just said, there's a lot of options depending on your exact use cases and how you need this to work, and that's really the power of this integration. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you one way that I've set up this integration that has been working really well, and then we can take your questions at the end about your specific use cases that might, go in different directions from this kind of one basic setup. So what we have in this org is a new object called marketing list. And this is the one and only additional object that we need in Salesforce for this integration. And actually, we don't even really need it, but I really like it. This list gives us a nice place to organize and manage all of our emailing lists right in Salesforce. So we don't have to do any list management over in Mailchimp anymore. Any user who needs to create lists, look at lists, manage lists, we can do all of that right out of Salesforce, which is really where we want to be doing it anyway. So we have this marketing list tab, And we have a marketing list record for each group that we want to sync over to Mailchimp. So here's just some kind of test groups that we have here. Let's look at what it looks like to create a marketing list. It's just going to be like creating any other record in Salesforce, and it's a very simple record. All we need to do is give it a name. So let's say I'm going to have a list for my manufacturing contacts. And if I just want to start creating this list but not sync it over to Mailchimp yet, I could leave this blank. Or if I just want to, send it right over to Mailchimp, I can choose to sync that list. And that's it. So I've created essentially the bucket where I can put all of my contacts. So I've created a list. There's no contacts in it yet. And there are essentially 3 different great ways that I can add contacts to this list now, or leads. I'm using contacts for all of my examples, but any of these can be for contacts or leads. So there's an Add Members button here. If you're familiar with Salesforce native campaign functionality, this is going to look a lot like that, virtually identical, in fact. So here I am in the interface where I can add contacts to this marketing list, and I can filter based on any field. So I could find one of my industry fields here, manufacturing, and add contacts that way. I can also add contacts that are in a campaign, and I think I might circle back to this in a minute. But I'm going to leave it for now. So mostly what I'm looking at here is creating that marketing list. Let's take a look at, here's another sort of industry-based one, Minnesota healthcare contacts. And so here you can see what it looks like with those once those contacts have been added. So that's step 1, and I'm just going to, well, I took a screenshot of your less reproductive system chart, and we can see we're right here in this zone. We've created a marketing list, and we've added contacts, and those contacts have become contact list members that we saw at the bottom. So this is what we've done so far. Having created that list with the members on it, when the next automated sync runs, which could be every 6, 12, or 24 hours, I usually just set them to run overnight, but you can certainly have them run more often as you need. It syncs over to Mailchimp, and it's going to create a Mailchimp group with those people in it, all by itself. So I can show you what that looks like based on this healthcare list that was created earlier. If we go over to Mailchimp, here we can see the marketing lists that they have synced, including that healthcare one. So nobody had to come in over to Mailchimp to create this list. It just looked at what we had in Salesforce and created, essentially, this is the marketing list, and then these contacts are the contacts that were added in Salesforce. So when I want to send email to this list, all I have to do in Mailchimp is just go ahead and start that process here. Okay, so really that takes us all the way through the middle of this integration. So we've created our list with people, and it has created it over in Mailchimp. The next thing we're going to do is send email, and you do that out of Mailchimp. Send an email to your group, of course. And now here is where the second half of the magic is really going to happen. The first half is that I could do all of that list creating in Salesforce without having to monkey around with stuff in Mailchimp. The second half of the magic, where it's really going to pop, is when we see what happens after I send that mail out of Mailchimp. Cazoomi, when the next time the sync runs, it's going to come back to Salesforce, and it's going to create a campaign record. We're going to use the native campaign object, and it's going to create campaign members for each and every one of my group members that received that email. All right, so we're going to look at that in Salesforce. So now we're going to go to the campaign tab. And I've created a custom list view here for all Mailchimp email campaigns. I can easily find those, and of course you could create all kinds of custom little list views. And I think, which is a good one. I think as it happens, this was a good one to look at. So when we sent an email out of Mailchimp, 6 recipients, it came back, and created this campaign with the same campaign name as whatever I sent out of Mailchimp. So if the name of the campaign is May Newsletter, it's going to come back here and create a campaign called May Newsletter, just completely mirroring what you sent in Mailchimp. It'll automatically give it the type of email, which is, of course, very useful, and will automatically slap in here the date that you sent that email out of Mailchimp will be inserted as the start date, so you can easily see what was sent and when. Everyone I sent will become a campaign member. This is in Salesforce Lightning. It gives you this cool little pie chart, but we might want to actually see the people. So these 6 people are the same 6 people that are in that test list over in Mailchimp, right? So they all get a record in here. And let's just look at my campaign member record here. Okay, so this is some, these Mailchimp sync stats are right out of the box with the Cazoomi sync. You get a field that shows you how many times this contact opened it, how many times they clicked, if they bounced, and then this email event will, as you can see, give you some details about what happened. So you can see all of the different times that I opened it, what time I clicked on it, and then the URL of anything that I clicked on. So you can see what your constituents are engaging with and when, just really very easily. And so then from a list view here, I can kind of scan through and see my opens and my clicks and, you know, order by those things or whatnot. So come back to the campaign. So now this lightning view is based on those 6 contacts that we were just looking at. This gives us a really cool overhead view of what happened with this email sent. I can see it was sent to 6 people. 4 people haven't opened it or anything. They were sent the email and nothing else has happened, right? 1 person opened it and 1 person clicked. So you can imagine for, you know, a larger send, when you've got all your opens and clicks happening, it can be very exciting to see how that's playing out. This is pretty much out of the box with Salesforce Lightning. This chart comes. This is a custom chart that I've added in, and I'm kind of doing this as a standard practice with my implementations because people like it. And actually, this is based on 2 custom things that I like to add into the integration. I'm maybe going a little bit off the rails here, but it's just some very simple stuff that I've added in for a little extra value. Is based on those opens and clicks that we saw on the campaign member record, where we saw that Stephanie King opened it so many times and clicked 1 time. I create these fields. These are just standard Salesforce roll-up fields to roll those up to the campaign level, where here I can see summary totals of totals and unique events, right? So we've got 6 total opens coming from 2 unique opens, right? So it was Stephanie and 1 other person actually opened this email, but I opened it 4 times, and I guess the other person opened it twice, right? So we got 6 total opens. So you can kind of see how things are playing out there, kind of the total engagement versus the unique, you know, which constituents are engaging. These 2 fields are native Salesforce, how many contacts are in the campaign, how many total responses, and then we have these sort of custom ones that I've added counting our totals and unique opens and clicks. So then based on these rolled up totals, we can just do a fun little report here showing of our total campaign, what is our open rate and what is our click rate. And so that can be fun to see. Let's see. Okay. I think one more spot I want to see. So just referencing back to our chart again, we really looked at the full cycle of this chart. Where I want to take us now is to kind of loop back to the front and look at how this looks on a contact record. So if I go to one of my contacts here, let's go to the Stephanie one because I know I've been interacting with these records. So here's just my Salesforce contact record, and I've got 2 things related to the integration showing on this page. Number 1, I've got the marketing lists related list. So this is that one custom object, and here's where you can see what list I am on. So this is going to be, depending on how many marketing lists you have, this is going to be a relatively short list. Of course, depending, but right, you're going to have you're going to have kind of your all contacts list, like your master list, and then you're going to have your little breakdown lists of your, here's the people who get the monthly newsletter, here's the people we're marketing to for this specific use case, all of those one-offs, right? And you can see all of the lists that a contact is on. And then in the campaign history is where you'll see every individual email that contact has received. So since I'm on the test list, and we've been sending a lot of tests, you can see each test email that I was sent, or this could be the May newsletter, the June newsletter, the July newsletter, or all of these, whichever marketing emails you have going out. You'd see each one listed there, and the status. We could customize this list view even further to also include those clicks and bounces. We can just see it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I should really update this list. Here's where we can come in and see for this particular send. Did she open it? Did she click it? Like I said, we could actually customize this list. So we just have a column here saying opens, clicks, and those email events too, showing what links I clicked on. So right from the contact record, as I'm looking at Stephanie, I can very quickly see that, she's clicking on everything. And that's really nice. I can see what list she's on. The last thing that I can show before I maybe just open it up for questions is to circle back again to the different ways that you can add people to a marketing list. And so since I'm on a contact record, I'll show one way here is just from a contact record, if I just have a one-off situation, say you've got a new constituent or a new prospect in, and you just want to manually add them to the list. Like I just entered Stephanie King, and I want to make sure she gets on. Maybe you have a marketing list for an event invitation coming up. Invite her to the demo next week, or add her to the newsletter list. I can do that on a one-off basis as a user. So on the record, I can just go new. Maybe I know that Stephanie is a manufacturing side person. I'm just going to go ahead and add her to that manufacturing list. And I can do that on a one-off basis. Obviously, you are probably not thinking about doing all of your list management on a one-off basis. So that tends to be kind of an edge case, but it's definitely nice to be able to do it for those cases where it makes sense, right? The second way that you can add contacts to a list, let's go to that manufacturing list, is using this add members that I showed at the beginning. And so here's where we can add contacts based on any field on the contact record. I think I have some ex-industry things here. I'm not actually sure if this field is really used in this test org, so we might not get any results. Yeah, sorry, bad demo. But we could find contacts based on something more relevant here. The third way that I want to mention is notice that I can bring contacts from a campaign, and this is where you have access to a lot of power for your list management. This allows you to start with a report. So here I've got a report up. Any report that is based on contacts, you can, whether it's with a standard report type or a custom report type that allows you to access other data related to contacts. So in this example, I want contacts where their account is labeled as a manufacturing account. So that's something that you can, really makes a lot more sense, right? Whereas in my example, I was trying to find, manufacturing contacts, quote unquote. More likely, manufacturing is going to be a tag at the account level, right? But that's not something I can just directly filter on. I don't have a field, or we can imagine at least that I don't have a field right on the contact that says manufacturing. That makes less sense than I would have that field on the company, right? That's saying this is a manufacturing company. So how I can get at that is through a report. And so this is just a basic accounts and contacts report, where I can then have a filter here. We can just look at my filter. So I'm filtering on the industry field from the account level, saying that the account industry equals manufacturing. So now I've got contacts who are at manufacturing accounts. And so I have this beautiful list. And since this is a report that is based on contacts, I can just go right here and add to campaign. And add that. I haven't set up a campaign for this yet, but I could set up like a manufacturing contacts campaign. Add these contacts to the campaign, and now in Cazoomi, I can find that campaign and add them right in. Would it be helpful if I actually just do that? I don't want to bog down in unnecessary things, but would people want to see me actually set up that campaign and bring in the contacts? Well, I'd be happy to do that if anyone wants to see it, but that is it, kind of simply. So you set up your marketing list. We have those 3 different ways to add members to your list, either one-off, through a list, through a field filter, or with a report through a campaign. You add your members to the list. The sync takes care of basically mirroring all of your lists with all of the members in Mailchimp. And when they send an email, it comes back and creates the campaign with the campaign members. All of your stats get recorded at the campaign member level. You can easily roll that up to the campaign level or report on it. And then you can also view those results back at the individual contact or lead side. I will leave it at that for now and see what questions people might have.
Thank you so much, Stephanie, for showcasing to our attendees a very thorough review and a use case scenario, a perfect use case scenario for Salesforce and Mailchimp integration. Am I right? I mean, some of our attendees or subscribers don't even know how powerful the marketing list in Salesforce is. So, yeah, this is actually very important, and one of the aspects in getting a Salesforce consultant. It's very advantageous that the consultant, especially like Redpath Consulting, that they are experts and they are certified partners in Salesforce, and they can really help you out with optimizing and utilizing the best of your Salesforce accounts for integration with Mailchimp. So thank you so much for that, Stephanie. So I'm going to go back ahead and share my screen.
Sounds good.
Okay. There we go. So can everybody see my screen now? Okay.
Yep.
So Redpath Consulting Group is actually a full-service certified Salesforce consulting, and they are also a silver partner with Salesforce. And we really appreciate their time and effort for being with us today for the webinar. So thank you again, Stephanie. And
thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. It is an honor for us to have your presence today, and we highly appreciate your time for being with us.
You bet.
So as I said, Redpath is a full-service certified Salesforce consulting and silver partner for over 10 years. I mean, for a decade, they have worked with over 300 enterprise, mid-size, and nonprofit organizations. With Redpath, they simplify, they implement, and they accelerate your business's integration needs together with SyncApps. So you can get in touch with Redpath via Stephanie to get a free consultation, or if you'd like a one-on-one demo with Stephanie and Redpath for your Salesforce needs. So thank you again, Stephanie, And thank you for Redpath for showcasing your presence with us. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I believe that this concludes our Walkthrough Wednesdays for today. And thank you again so much, everyone, for joining us. And right now, we're open to any questions and answers that you might have for our team and for Redpath and Stephanie as well.
I see a question came in just a couple minutes ago asking if this app is the main Mailchimp integration. It is not. And that's, Mailchimp does have, I'm doing air quotes even though you can't see them, they have a native integration with Salesforce. It's not just because I love Cazoomi, although I do love Cazoomi, but I do not recommend the native integration that comes with Mailchimp for Salesforce. It's free, and you kind of get what you pay for. Sometimes free apps can be great, but this is not one of those situations. The issues with that free integration have varied over time from it doesn't sync opt-out to you don't get any of the niceness of the list management at all. It's very clunky with the list management. It can create just like a copious number of records in your org, depending on how you have the settings, where it starts hogging all your data, like after, depending on the size of your list. But it can really be a data. It's just not a very nice thing. I would almost rather not integrate than use that free version. So Cazoomi is a third-party app that does this integration in a very elegant, nice way for what I think is an absolutely, reasonable price. Does that make sense, Megan?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
No, and where do I just go to search it within Salesforce?
For Cazoomi?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would maybe turn to your old friend Google and search Cazoomi to find your way to their website.
Okay.
And that would be where you would start, go to like log in, and then there might be an option to create, a trial account. Like Joanna was saying, you get a free 2-week trial.
Yes, and also, Megan, you can send a support ticket via support@cazoomi.com, and our 24/7 support rockstars will be happy to help you and guide you through the integration for Salesforce and Mailchimp.
Right.
Okay. Great.
There you go. Yeah.
Thanks for sending that,
Sure, absolutely.
John.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It seems like we have no questions aside from Megan's. So I believe that this concludes our webinar and Walkthrough Wednesday series for today, and which we have demoed and talked about Mailchimp and Salesforce integration for success with Redpath. So I thank you everyone for joining us and having your presence with us today. It really means a lot to us, and especially to Stephanie and Redpath. We hope for more integrations and more webinars with SyncApps and Redpath. So thank you all for coming, and I hope that you have a great day ahead.
Thank you, Joanna. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.